Hi, guys. Oh, can you believe it? We have made our way through the first two limbs of yoga. We've talked about the yamas. We're working our way through the niyamas, and we're actually on the fifth one, the last one today. And if you haven't really noticed the theme of how the yamas and the niyamas work, the yamas are kind of like an outwardly expression of yourself, how to kind of show up in the world, just kind of guidelines to be, a decent human. And then the niyamas are, they're for us. They're more for how to navigate ourselves internally, which then, shows us how to kind of present ourselves externally to the world. So this is the last niyama, and this is probably, and there's some conversation about it, that this is probably the most important one. And in my personal life and in my personal practice, this was one that I kind of resisted for quite some time. And then when I finally surrendered to it, things in my life really shifted. So please excuse my probably mispronunciation of this one. It's Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana. And that literally translates to like God, or surrendering to, in the Yoga Sutras, they use the word God, or it's translated to God, but really it's just that something greater. I personally in my life had a really hard time with this concept for a multitude of reasons. But I invite you to change that word to universe, source, spirit, the divine, goddess, whatever that something greater is for you. And as soon as I kind of let go behind that word, surrendered and let go of that word God, I really understood what this niyama represented. And pretty much it's just about recognizing that you are having a human experience, that you are not your body, you are not your mind, that you are actually something greater, and you are a part of something greater, and that we are all connected, and that we are all part of this thing that's greater than us. We just have different words or different kind of ideas or pictures of what that something greater is, but underlying, we're all part of the same thing. So Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering to that something greater. And that doesn't mean, you have no control over your life. That doesn't mean that you don't, have the ability to manifest and co-create your experience. It just means that some things are out of our control, and it's just part of the whole. You can drive a boat, but you're not necessarily the boat, and you can't control the weather. So that's what this represents, is just acknowledging where you are and your role in the greater scheme of things, but also surrendering and letting go and understanding that there's some things that are out of your control, and that's that something greater. And you can also take this onto the yoga mat. And I'm sure you have heard me talk about this, like surrender into child's pose or surrender into shavasana. You can even surrender into an active pose. And that means to just accept the pose fully for what it is for you in that moment. And sometimes child's pose may look one way to you, and other times it may look and feel completely different. So it's about surrendering. It's about letting go, not letting that capital I, that like ego self, take the reins all the time. So when you practice today, and you surrender into a pose, fully surrender. When you are going through your day and things aren't working out the way that you wanted them to work out, instead of getting upset about it and instead of placing blame on yourself or blame on other people, surrender into the experience and just accept that sometimes things are out of your control. And as soon as you make that shift, you learn to just like let go a little bit more. And trust me, this is something I have struggled with. I am a little type A, I am a little controlling, and this is something that I've really struggled with. And understanding and conceptualizing this and then actually putting it into action and form in my life really made drastic shifts and changes. And it is something that I'm always working on. So just because you might master it today doesn't mean you're not gonna, be a beginner with it tomorrow.